growing up, there really wasn't that opportunity out there. I wanted to have nice jewelry. It didn't exist, so GLD was kind of the perfect thing to fill that void.
You gotta let people know, man, where you from and all that type of stuff. You gotta give the people what they want to hear.
So I'm from Pittsburgh. GLD started in Pittsburgh, out of my dorm room. I went to Duquesne University, played basketball there. I actually went there with the intention of being a basketball coach.
Okay.
Knew I wasn't going to the NBA, so I wanted to be a coach. I was wrapping up my basketball career. GLD started, really got some legs, and I kind of gave up that dream to pursue GLD. So right out of school, jumped right into GLD, and the rest is history.
What inspired you? What made you come up with Shop GLD and to put up masterpieces and get players and athletes to join in?
Honestly, it was something growing up. Always was into fashion, always was into the culture. There just really wasn't anything or a brand that really kind of filled that void. We have different price points of jewelry, from kind of in the couple $100 range to the $100,000 pieces that you and your teammates are wearing.
Mostert takes off and goes the distance for the touchdown.
What place would y'all rather be right now, man? Come on. Let's be great today, man.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Raheem Mostert, host of Relentlessly Motivated, presented by Mercury. Super excited to bring this show to you guys. We're going to have weekly episodes featuring athletes, business professionals, and anyone that's overcome odds to achieve greatness. Check us out on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate your guys' support, and enjoy the show.
Real shit, man. Good, bro. How you doing?
All good, man. Check it out, man.
That's dope, bro.
Thank you.
I like it. Open concept. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. It's Raheem Mostert. This is Relentlessly Motivated Podcast. Today we got a special guest, a close friend of mine. He's been helping out with unbelievable things. He's been doing a lot of great things in the online world, creating unbelievable pieces of jewelry and just expanding. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome Christian at Shop GLD. This guy right here, he's the best. The guy literally will just come over. I give him a phone call and ask him, hey, man, I'm hosting a bowling event. And next thing you know, he's popping up right up at the bowling alley and, he's taking it on. He's really being a part of the communities. Without further ado, this is, like I said, my boy Christian. Christian, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
What's good, man? Appreciate it. Happy to be here. Honored to be a part of it, man. I heard you were having the podcast, hyped to be here.
Honored that you even took this on. I know that you do a lot of great things. One of the things that really motivated me and inspired me was to continue my dreams. And one of the questions I want to ask you is, what inspired you? What made you come up with Shop GLD and put up masterpieces and get players and athletes to join in?
Yeah, so honestly, it was something growing up. Always was into fashion, always was into the culture, and there just really wasn't anything or a brand that really kind of filled that void. So I always wanted to have jewelry, and we have different price points of jewelry, from kind of in the couple $100 range to the $100,000 pieces that and your teammates are wearing.
Yeah.
So growing up, there really wasn't that opportunity out there. I wanted to have nice jewelry. It didn't exist, so GLD was kind of the perfect thing to fill that void.
Oh, man, that's awesome. You gotta let people know, man, where you from and all that type of stuff. You gotta give the people what they want to hear.
For sure. So I'm from Pittsburgh. GLD started in Pittsburgh, out of my dorm room. I went to Duquesne University, played basketball there. I actually went there with the intention of being a basketball coach.
Okay.
Knew I wasn't going to the NBA, so I wanted to be a coach. I was wrapping up my basketball career. GLD started, really got some legs, and I kind of gave up that dream to pursue GLD. So right out of school, jumped right into GLD, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You want to play? What position you played in basketball?
Hey, I'm a shooter.
Shooter?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a corner shooter.
Okay, all right, I can see it. You was handling the ball a little bit, huh?
Little handle, but once I got to college, it was more just like standing in the corner, shoot the three.
Yeah.
I didn't put in the effort. I was an effort guy.
Okay. So let me ask you this: was that transition a little bit easier for you, or like how did it go from I want to be an athlete and wanted to be able to do my thing to moving over into the Shop GLD world?
So there's actually so many parallels between sports and business. So it was crazy. When I started in business, I kind of saw all those things that make you successful in sports. It allows you to also be successful in business. So, focus, obviously the grind at the beginning. It's just like grind as an athlete, the come up, the same type of thing. And then it kind of, as you get older, the stakes get higher. And just like in sports, you have to deal with teammates and you kind of have to deal with like the off the field stuff. It's kind of the same in business. It turns into like managing people, building a team. And it's a lot of the same characteristics that make a good team in sports also make a good team in business.
Right. Yeah, man, that's awesome to hear. Before we get back into the pod, I have to tell you guys about Doer jeans. These jeans are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. They look good and make me feel good too. The material is 5 times the stretch of traditional denim, which allows me to move freely and comfortably whether I'm working out or just lounging at home. It's the kind of comfort I want every day. Doer denim is not only comfortable, it is also antibacterial. That means less washing, which is great for the environment and my schedule. I'm able to stay fresh and clean even with less laundry. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Does he really wear jeans in sunny South Florida? Doer jeans has me covered because they're designed to regulate temperature, keeping me comfortable in all types of weather. And last but not least, Doer denim is designed to last for years. So I'm not just investing in a pair of jeans, I'm investing in my style and comfort for the long term. It's a smart choice for both my wardrobe and my wallet. I know you'll love Doer as much as I do. Check out Doer's flagship store in LA and Denver, or shop online at shopdoer.com/motivated. Right now, my listeners can get 15% off site-wide when you use my special URL. You'll want to take advantage of this because Doer never goes on sale. To get 15% off, go now to shopdoer.com/motivated. I mean, and what was like the biggest motivation for you? Like what gave you that extra edge to, keep pushing?
Honestly, I think it's the fact that I gave up my original dream, which was to be that basketball coach. It was something I dreamed of growing up. I always wanted to be like a big time basketball coach. So the fact that I gave up that dream, I said, okay, if I'm going to give that up, then, GLD is my other dream. I'm going to make sure this is successful. And just, it just motivated me that much more just to never give up.
And you put a lot of hard work to it too, huh?
A lot of long nights, a lot of all-nighters. We're talking very little sleep in those early, those first 2 years. You just got to embrace the grind and get to it.
Yeah, no, I believe that. What was like the biggest like struggle for you? Like what was like one of those moments where you're like, I don't know if this is it moment? Because everybody has that moment, right? Like my moment for me was when I was with the Browns and I got cut. Like I was just like, and especially it was the same day as my wife's bridal shower, so that was tough in itself. And I just made the 53 and all of a sudden I just get cut the next day. So what was that moment for you?
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, bro. It was crazy. Like I had to call my father-in-law and tell him like, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but like I just got cut from the Browns, and he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just hold off. Like I'm not gonna tell the ladies now. I'm not gonna ruin that moment for them. So like we'll talk about it when you get home.
Wow. Hey, it worked out. You were able to grind through that. And I think like for me, the same type of thing. I mean, there were points early in the business where, the bank account gets low, you maybe overinvest, make a mistake. You try to expand too quickly. And there's those times that come and you just have to buckle down and figure how you're going to get out of the situation. And basically there's always, if you don't give up, there's always a solution. You just got to like work through that. So that's kind of been my philosophy. When things get tough, don't give up, find a solution and just like work through it.
That's a great point. Cause I mean, when I think about my career, and being cut so many times, one of the things that I've tried to dial in and hone on was the fact that I'm able to be in this platform. I'm able to do what I need to do to be an NFL player. I'm able to go out here and try to produce as much as I possibly can. I know I'm worth it. Like my pinnacle is to get a gold jacket, right? Everybody wants the higher achievement award. What would that be for you? Like what would be like, you're solidified. I'm giving you solidification. So I know that, you have that standard about yourself and you carry yourself in that manner. I mean, from the first time I met you, you've always been grade A, 100%. But what is that pinnacle for you? Like, what do you see that as? What's that level for you?
I appreciate that. Like for me, honestly, I think building GLD into a global brand, but also giving back at the same time. I think it's always been important for GLD to be involved in the community. And kind of giving people the inspiration, kind of seeing our growth. We started the brand with $1,000, and our motto has been built from the ground up, because that's really what we were from the beginning. We worked up step by step. So I think giving back to the community and giving other people the opportunity to grow and just inspire them to, do what they could do and not give up. So I think that's a big part of it. And then obviously, like, I take a lot of pride in GLD. I just want it to be a global brand and reach its true potential.
Yeah. What, now you mentioned giving back. What is one of the biggest things? Because my thing is, like, I want to give back to the underprivileged, right? I mean, when I host my bowling event, and I do my toy drive each and every year, that I want to give back to those who need it the most, and for me is underprivileged kids and families that don't have the necessary means to buy things or the necessities. So what is one motivation or one thing that you want to give back the most?
100%. I think that's why Waves of Success, your charity, for us, that's like something that aligns with us perfectly.
Yeah.
Because I like to give back to, number one, the youth. I just think of kids who never really had the opportunity to be successful. So that's something that is always important to me. Give back to the youth, give them a fair shot at success in life. We've donated to some other charities as well that kind of have a similar theme of like underprivileged kids or kids who maybe went to jail and then never really had a chance to get out and have that second opportunity. So we kind of donated to a charity that allowed them to get a job and like get them on their feet. So I think there's a lot of different things. We actually have an internal GLD. It's like not public or anything, but we every month allow an employee to nominate a charity. So it's something different every month, but it's something that like represents what the team wants. So on top of those kind of bigger ones that we do, like the events, we also kind of quietly give to a charity every month. It's chosen by one of our employees. When
you guys help us out at Waves of Success, I think that's like the biggest thing. You get these kids that they don't have that much, and for them to just even have a smile on their face, I mean, even hanging around superstars and like yourself, a businessman and a business owner, I think that goes a long way. So appreciate that for sure. What is it like being a business owner? Like, I know that it's like full circle for you. You started out.
What's up, everybody? If you are a college football fan like me, if you know a college football fan that's in your life, you need to go cop this shirt. New designs dropping all the time. It's the perfect gift with the holiday season coming around. If you don't have this thing, you're missing out. Great material, great fabric. I wear it all the time. Go get yours today.
In college, and you're like, this dream right here, basketball and coaching, I'm gonna be a business owner. Like, how does that feel? Like,
honestly, it's crazy because there's so many different sides to it. You have the ups, you have the downs, and I think the key is just kind of keeping even, kind of stay as even as you can, not get too high, not get too low. But I mean, it's a lot of work. So if you're looking to get into it, be ready for the work. You're not gonna back down. Just like if you want to be in the elite of anything, an elite athlete, an elite business person, an elite artist, whatever it is you want to do, if you want to be elite, you got to put in the work. So you can't back down from the work. And then on the second side, you can't get, distracted or discouraged when things go wrong. You just got to kind of keep your eyes on the prize. Just like you mentioned when you got cut from the Browns, you got to keep that same motivation every day when you come in and just keep on working to the big goal.
When I got cut, right, I was like, I told my wife, like, at the time she was my fiance, and, it was the bridal shower. And so when we got back, when she got back home that night, I mean, I spent the whole day just thinking about that moment. I made the 53-man roster. I actually celebrated that night, with my family. We went to Hyde Park. I'll never forget. It was a steakhouse called Hyde Park. And I literally had a steak, was enjoying it. I'm like, I'm enjoying this moment. I made it, and then the next day reality hit. They called me up and they're like, hey, we need you to bring your iPad. It's not good when they tell you to bring your iPad, and come back to the office. That means that you're getting cut. And so I had that conversation with my wife that night, and the one question she asked me was like, how much do you love football? And I was like, well, I've been playing football for about, ever since I was 7. And then she was like, well, I mean, that's your answer right there. Keep going. We'll be all right. And so at that moment, I knew it was real. I was like, all right, well, if she's down, she's been with me ever since freshman year of college, and, she's been with me through all the ups and downs like you mentioned, and, I got to keep riding that wave. I got to keep pushing, because ultimately I'm going to get what I want, and if I'm able to look myself in the mirror, I think that's the biggest thing. So It's tough, challenges come abroad, and you do have to take those challenges head on. But what was like that one big challenge for you? Like what would you feel like was like, oh yeah, this is a huge hurdle, obstacle?
So actually, when we moved to Miami, we let one of our early employees, who's actually no longer with the company, kind of arrange the move.
Yeah.
And we moved from New York to Miami. We got here, moving truck said he was going to be here the day before, didn't come. Days start passing. All of a sudden, like, we think our whole business could be missing.
Yeah.
So, we're going days, and all of a sudden we had to like turn off our website because like people are ordering, they're not getting their stuff. So they're really unhappy. And we were a much smaller company at the time, obviously learned from our mistakes,
Right.
like kind of never put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. So when that truck pulled up, I remember it pulling up at like 2 a.m. I was sitting at the office, like just waiting for that truck to pull out. It pulled up at 2 a.m. I never ran to do a move so fast in my whole life. I carried all the boxes off the truck.
Yeah.
Like, it's faster than you can imagine. Like, I was just so happy to get our stuff back. But there was like a few days there where we were truly thinking like someone might have just stole like,
Man.
all of our stuff.
Yeah.
And that was something that was just, a very scary time. But with business, there's so many, opportunities where things, you can kind of turn something bad into something good, like turn it into a learning experience. Like, there's so many failed things that, I've had ideas, I thought they were good ideas, they fail. Sometimes it's hard to swallow your pride and kind of like pivot to something else. But the way I look at it, and I always tell people this too, is there's really no bad idea if you're willing to build off of it and kind of pivot to something else. So like, stay agile and find a way to turn that idea into a good one. You might have to change it 5 times to get to the right idea. But in sports, it's probably the similar thing when like you're trying to learn a new move, or you're trying to like get to like a goal weight on like a squat or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe get that 40 time for the draft, like things like
that 40 times that's gonna help you out.
Yeah. So there's little things that you kind of, in business, you might have an idea, like a category or like a product. I create like products. So when a product doesn't work out, like, it hits me hard. It's like, okay, like obviously I missed something there. Our customer didn't like it. So like, how could I learn from that and take that, to the next one to keep learning? Yeah,
I could tell that you guys are like, you listen to your customers. I think that's the biggest thing in owning a business, right? It's like, what does the customer want? What are the customer needs? What's the demand for it? And I think that's the biggest thing, that you guys, are able to create something that, like I said, GLD is doing unbelievable things. So
appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Customer's always right.
The customer's always right. You hear that first. Customer's always right.
It's true.
So, before we get back to the pod, I got to tell you guys about HelloFresh. HelloFresh hooks you up with breakfast, lunches, and snacks, all part of the playbook. It's the fuel I use for my podcast grind. HelloFresh is offering charcuterie boards that score big this holiday season and desserts that are straight up touchdowns. With over 45 weekly recipes, 100 curated picks, every bite is a celebration. Listen, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. It's probably super expensive to have meals shipped to your home. Think again. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and less expensive than takeout. That means less stress in your day and more money back in your pocket. But that's not the best part. I bargained with HelloFresh to get my listeners an exclusive deal. Free breakfast for life. I'm not kidding. For life. Yes, for life. So join me and many others by going to HelloFresh.com/RaheemFree and use code RaheemFree for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/RaheemFree with code RaheemFree. If you have any questions or anything like that, man, I like I said, I appreciate your time and stuff like that. It's real good chatting it up with you. Like always, I know that you're gonna be doing big and huge things, and I'm excited, man. I can't wait. I gotta get another piece too, man.
Definitely, yeah. New piece coming, maybe a waves of success piece, something like that.
Oh yeah, we definitely could create something like that now.
I'm curious. So like, you've been through all the different levels. Obviously, you're an elite athlete now.
Mm-hmm.
You made it to the NFL, which is a dream of like so many people.
Yeah.
What do you think's the biggest difference going from like high school to college and college to NFL?
High school, right? Yeah, that's a great question. So from high school, right? It's like, everybody, if you're a good player, you're gonna stand out, right? Like, who's the top dog on the team. For me, I wasn't necessarily the top dog. Like, I was, put it like this: Florida football is like some of the best football in the entire country. Like, you got Florida, Texas, California, PA. is always good. Ohio, Indiana's, got some ball players too. But with Florida, it just seems like everybody around you is always good. And so I wasn't necessarily the best player on my team, but I was the most efficient player. I played receiver at the time, so it was like I stood out by, doing like screens and taking them to the house, or kickoff returns, taking them to the house. Like, that was my mantra. That was how I was able to get a scholarship and then go from high school to, go to Purdue University. And I think the biggest thing is just the work ethic too, right? It's like you got to have great work ethic. You have to be able to put yourself out there to put the grind in and not hesitate about, or second guess yourself. I think that was the biggest thing for me. I knew that I was a good player no matter what field I stepped on. And that's the mentality that you have to have. Just same thing as you, right? In order for you to have the best business, you have to have that mentality like, I'm the best business owner around here. I do the best work. I create the best things. I create the best pieces. So that's how you have to approach this football too, is like you have to let everybody know. You don't have to necessarily let everybody know with your words, but your actions have to like show that off. So I was able to showcase that, from high school to college. College didn't necessarily favor, me all that much, just because I went through a coaching change at the end of my sophomore year. And then junior, senior year were kind of hectic for me. But I still had that mentality like, hey, I'm still the best thing on this team, whether you believe it or not. And then it carried over into the NFL. Now, me being cut several times, I was cut 7 times in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. My first 2 years, it was rough. But I did have that mentality of, hey, look, I have to be relentless. I have to go out here and go and chase my dreams, because at the end of the day, I got to look myself in the mirror. I'm the one that, has to be satisfied with the production that I produce. Nobody else is going to be
your own hardest critic.
Yeah, you have to be your own critic. You have to be your own worst critic in that case, and that was it for me. So it's the different speeds of the game. You have high school where you're the best, nobody else is really all that, and then college is like, okay, pretty much the whole team was 4-star, 5-star recruits, 3-star recruits, and they're trying to put on, and then you come into the NFL, it's like it's the top of the food chain. Yeah. Like, everybody's good. So it's a journey, going in year 9, and I'm undrafted guy. I'm blessed, man.
That's a crazy ride.
Yeah,
so I never realized. So you even through high school, you were kind of grinding the whole way. It's not like some guys are kind of gifted, and it kind of like high school was a breeze, college maybe even was a breeze. I think the NFL is probably a little harder, but it might have took to the NFL for it to really become a grind. I feel like for you kind of even had to grind like earlier in the career.
Yeah, I had to grind. I mean, same with you, right? You had to grind when you were in basketball. Like you worked your way up, and then you went to college, and you're like, okay, this isn't it. I'm gonna take the business approach. I'm gonna grind, and I'm gonna sleep in my dorm. I'm gonna sleep at the facility that I'm in New York and all that stuff in PA, right?
Yep.
In Pittsburgh. But my thing was like, I had a rough childhood, so my only thing was, okay, I need to get to college. Like that was my getaway. I need to have a degree. I didn't necessarily look at football as a pure source of outlet. I looked at it as football brought a platform for me to be able to go to college, be able to get a full ride scholarship, so that way I can go and do what I want to do. Live a comfortable life. I have a degree. I can work. I want to be a business owner someday. I don't know what business that was, but at the time it's like, hey, look, I need to go to college. I need to get away. I need to get away from where I'm at, because this isn't good for me. And so that's why it was so much easier for me to I wasn't a straight A student in high school, but I was able to get the appropriate grades to go into a university like Purdue, which is like pretty much, an Ivy League in a way. But I just had to use that outlet, so that way I can push myself further.
Yeah, it drove you the whole way.
It did.
Yeah.
It definitely did. So, and it was the best decision. I mean, I got recruited by Miami. I got recruited by UCF, USF. The only two schools that didn't want to recruit me were Florida and Florida State. I was getting recruited by Florida, but that was when Urban Meyer basically was like, yeah, I'm not coaching football again. And, you know, I was pretty much that guy that was on the fringe of getting a scholarship and offer. So I'm glad it worked out the way it did. I mean, I could look back and be like, man, I did the right thing by going to Purdue, getting away, I'm the first person graduating in my family with a degree. Nice. So, yeah, it was amazing. I can't look back and be like, oh man, I wish I would have. I mean, everything happens for a reason. You know, you just got to keep that mentality and stay motivated throughout the process and keep going.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the biggest things is like looking back, there's things you could have done differently, and at the end of the day, you're still happy, even with the decisions that maybe weren't the right ones. You're still happy just because of where you ended up today.
And I think that you hit the biggest point when you said, you know, at the moment, like it doesn't seem like it's favoring you all that much, but like you can grow and you can learn. Like you're gonna have mistakes, you're gonna have these mishaps, and you can either do one or two things. You could either let it fuel you and then learn from that, or like literally bring you down and not learn and just give up, right? And like you said, being a business owner, you know, yeah, I learned that, hey, this piece of jewelry may not be the best seller, but you know, I learned that from that mistake, and I'm just gonna move forward. Like I gotta grind it out, and I gotta figure out what's the best solution for the customers first, for the people.
Yep.
And that's the same, you know, with me. It's like, how can I do myself a justice if, you know, I'm looking at myself and being like, hey, this is not it, you know, nah, I'm done. Like, no, I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and then I'm going to move forward. The biggest thing that I've ever heard was don't make the same mistake twice. That's the most true statement. If you never make the same mistake twice, you're learning from it. I mean, I feel like your career is a perfect example of like continuous improvement. Yeah. Like you're at age, what are you, 31, 32? 31, and yeah. You're at the best, like you're at the best shape you've been. Yeah. You're in the best like professional position you've been in. So you've been able to kind of level up the whole way. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people look at my age and they're like, wow, this guy's 31 years old, still playing in the league. I'm like, I mean, if you have the mentality of a lion, like it doesn't matter what age you are, like you're gonna go out there and you're gonna produce. Exactly. And so, you know, with me, it's like I don't necessarily look at age. Age is just a number to me. Like I'm gonna be running faster than a lot of guys that are on the field. You know, I'm gonna be running harder than anybody that's ever, you know, played this sport. I want a gold jacket. Like that's my mentality. So like, how do I get to that? Well, I gotta do what I do best. I gotta put my best foot forward when it's required. So be at your best when your best is required. And that's the mentality that you have to have. Living proof. Age is just a number. Getting better with age. I tell you what, it's true though. So if you hear it out there, just make sure that you understand age is just a number. Just go out there and just chase your dreams full on and don't look back. That's the best thing that you could possibly do. 100%. So. I could work both ways. If you're too young and people are kind of like putting your dream down because you're too young, like, you know, focus on other stuff. Yeah. Don't listen because, you know, just because you're young, you still grind it out and figure out a way. It might be something new that the world hasn't seen yet. Yeah. But don't let that stop you. Yeah. And on the other end of it, you know, maybe you would to grind and work like a tough 9 to 5 just to kind of maintain, and that's like fully respectable. Maybe you're, you know, getting a little older and you have an idea like, you know, you're never too old to start something new, so it can work both ways. I mean, you live in proof of that. I mean, look what you've done. Like, man, you're down here in Miami with your own building. Like, did you ever think that? Honestly, I was like, there was so much going on in the early stages. Sometimes it's hard to even imagine. Yeah. Like, I always dreamed GLD would blow up, but all these little details that kind of come with it, it's almost impossible to predict if you haven't done it before. So a lot of it's new to me. I'm learning every day. Yeah. And just kind of taking that same mentality you have or be better than you were yesterday and just continuous improvement. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's awesome to hear, man. But, well, shoot, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I think this is a great segue, and you're doing unbelievable things. Y'all go check his shop out, man. Shop GLD. You give the people what they want to hear, man. Give them a tag or something like that. Shop GLD, shopgld.com. You know,
come check us out. Got the best jewelry in the game. This guy's been rocking with us for a minute, so we're legit.
Keep it up, man. Keep doing your thing, and I appreciate it, brother.
No doubt. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you as always. He's a real man, so always appreciate the real one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey, that does it for the podcast, this episode. Stay tuned. We got more. We got plenty more, I promise you. This is just the beginning of it, and we're going to have fun, man. So, like I said, stay tuned. Mostert out.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode with Gilbert Burns. Hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on anywhere that you find your podcast. And follow us on social media for highlights on the show. Until next time.